Welcome back to Twisted Stitches. My name is Tammy. How is everybody doing? I hope you all had a fantastic Father's Day and weekend. Woohoo! Today is Tuesday. So what does Tuesday mean? Tuesday means that it is Tuesday Talks with tips, tricks, and tutorials. Well, guess what I got this Tuesday? Right here. I got you a tutorial. I made this to fit my head. My head measures, going around this way, measures 23 inches. So like if I hold the tape measure just right around my forehead all the way around, it measures 23 inches. So I believe the finished length of this was almost 18 inches, and it fits good. It's not too snug. It won't give you a headache or anything like that. If you're gonna make this for a child, I would suggest probably taking away maybe 4 rows. So these are 2 and 2, so maybe 4 rows. And it's very easy. It's a very beginner friendly pattern, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So do you like it? Do you love it? Are you gonna make it? Let me know in the comment section, guys. Let me know how it was. I appreciate it. Remember, this is my very first tutorial, real full tutorial. This is my own little pattern. I'm easing my way into it, guys. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you will continue to come back. And thank you to all my new subscribers. How you guys doing? And thank you to everybody who's been here from the get-go. I appreciate you all. And I will be talking to you guys really soon. Next up, the tutorial. So you guys take care, and I'll be seeing you guys really soon. So for this project, I am going to be using Red Heart with Love metallic. It is a 4-weight yarn. It recommends a 6.5 millimeter or a K hook, but I will be using a I hook or a 5.5 millimeter for this project. You'll need a tape measure, a pair of scissors, a darning needle, and maybe a couple stitch markers to help you find the ends so you don't get messed up and you keep your count right. So of course, this headband looks like a flag, an American flag. So you will need the colors blue, white, and red. You can get it in cotton. Cotton will be great for, you know, the summer months. The acrylic is just fine. It works just fine. It's got a lot of spring to it, a lot of give. So the first thing we will do is make a slip knot. However way you make a slip knot, doesn't matter. Or just put a knot on the hook, doesn't matter. We are going to start with a chain of 11. 1, 2, 3. For me, I like to put it in the back bumps right there. But you can put it anywhere. I just like to work in the back bumps because it makes it a little bit neater when I sew up the the headband together. So we will be making half double crochets. Yarn over, enter your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through all 3. You did a half double crochet. So I'm going to assume if you're going to make this project, you know how to do all your basic crochet stitches. This particular pattern only uses chains, half double crochets, slip stitch, sew it up using whatever method you're comfortable with. At the end, I will be doing the mattress stitch because I like the way it turns out. Kind of gives you an invisible. working in the chains, I don't care how experienced you are, I don't care how long you've been crocheting, it's always a little wonky making sure you get into everywhere you need to get into. Plus the pressure's on, guys. Crocheting in front of everybody, huh? Like I said, for me, I like to work in these back loops. But for you, do whatever you're comfortable with. See, if you work in the back bump like that, you will notice that that very last one will be a little more fiddly. Let me get a little bit of yarn. So when you're done on your first row, you will have 10 half double crochets. Now, if you'd like, in order to make it easier for you, see if you count them right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We will be working in this stitch right here. So if you want to, put a stitch marker there to help you know when you're at the end of the row. Might make it a little bit easier for you. From this point on, we will be doing 10 rows. You're going to chain 1, turn your work. You're going to half double crochet right in that first stitch right there. See that? Half double crochet all the way down. Nothing weird, nothing wonky. And we are going to do this for 10 rows. So when you are done with your 10th row, I'll meet you back and we will take it from there. This is the 9th stitch. And see, there's your 10th stitch. See, it's always kind of on the edge right there. See how you can tell right there, that's your last stitch. If you don't, you would have crooked sides. So make sure you're always getting that last little stitch. Stick that hook right in there. Make a half double. And when you chain 1 and turn, make sure to put your hook, so after you're done, make sure you put your hook, your first stitch, into this very first one right there. Yarn over, enter into your stitch, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. Continue to do this for a total of 10 rows, and I'll meet you right back. So when you finish your 10 rows, you should have something that looks a little like this. Look at that. All right, so now we need to start bringing in the stripes, which if you look on American flag, it starts with a red and ends with a red. So that is what we're going to do for our pattern. We will start our striping on a red, and we will finish our striping pattern on a red. First, let me pull this back because we need to switch to red. So pull back 1 stitch, leave your last stitch, and let's make this a nice transition. And by that I mean we are going to transition. So here we go, yarn over, enter into that last stitch, pull up a loop, and leave your 3 loops on your hook. At this point, I am going to cut my blue because we will not be using the blue again. Boop, gone. Get rid of the blue. Get it off my table so I have more room. There we go. Now we will bring in the red. And from this point, our striping will be red and white, red and white. just like the stripes on the flag. So let's do this. We will pull this color through just like that. See that? Easy, easy, easy peasy. Now if you want to, I do this sometimes just to give you a little bit of stabilization. Let's see if you can see this. Here is my blue that I cut. Here is my red. I got a little too much blue here. Let's just give it a little tiny tie. Not a knot, but just a little tie. That'll keep everything nice and in place. So now we have our red. Chain one, turn. And now we will be working back and forth using our red. We will do 2 rows of red. And after you do the second row, here I'll show you. So we're going to go all the way across here in red. Oh, I love this glitter. I love it. Now I got something sparkly to wear on the 4th of July. Okay. So now you'll chain 1, turn your work. And we will half double crochet
all the way back. Whoops.
I chose half double crochets for this project because half double crochets are pretty stretchy. They're a pretty good stretchy stitch. So we don't have to do anything funny. We don't have to work in back loops or anything like that. We can just keep this very simple, and it really does work up cute. I did do one already. I did a prototype one, you know, just experimenting just to see what I want to do. And the prototype worked up pretty good, except for I changed one little thing, and I'll tell you about it when we're almost done. Now, here's our last stitch. Remember, he's hanging out at the end here. Don't forget about him, or else you're going to have uneven edges. Yarn over, enter into that last stitch there. Pull up your 3 loops, leave your 3 loops. Now we are going to introduce the white. Remember, we have the white. So at this point, let's bring the white into play here, but we're not going to cut the red. We're going to leave the red, and we're going to carry the red up. So after you introduce your white, just like we did with the red, chain 1, turn your work. Now, we are going to be carrying the red and the white up 2 rows. So what we want to do is we want to hide this red so it will be underneath here. So when we're all done, this could be the outside of your headband, and this will be the inside. All your little carrying up yarns will be hidden under here. No one will be able to see them unless you point them out. So how are we going to do that? Take your red yarn. I know this is a little fiddly, especially if you're a new crocheter, but it's okay. You can do this. Take your red yarn, hold it up against your work, just like that, okay? Use your phalanges. That's what we have them for. So remember, holding your yarn right here up against your work. See that? Use your finger to hold it up against your work. Yarn over, enter into your stitch. Try to get this all out of the way for you guys. Go through both loops and that red, your red carried yarn. Make your stitch. Like I said, this can be a little fiddly, but you can do it. I have faith. Snug down everything. You're good. Everything's good. Now, let go. Okay, you just want to grab it and hold it into that very first stitch. So we pull it up and out of the way there. So it's hidden on the underneath of your headband. Does that make sense? So what we do now is we continue crocheting in the white. Don't carry that yarn. Leave that yarn dangling there now. We're going to continue crocheting half double crochets with the white now. Your red's just hanging out. So continue working with your white yarn. And this is just a trick that you can use anytime you're going to carry up yarn and it kind of hides it. Remember this last little guy over here? He likes to hang out and be sneaky, but he is a stitch. See, he is a stitch. You have to put him in there. Yarn over, chain one, turn your work. Now we're going to return all the way back. With our white yarn.
Keep on going.
Now our last stitch, remember this little dude right here, he likes to play around with us, that's for sure. That's why I said if you want to use your stitch marker, that's fine. Now we have all 3 loops on the hook. We're going to drop our white. See, here's your captured red right here, how it's captured in this one little stitch. Pick up your red. We're going to pull the red through, just like that. See? Chain. Turn your work. Now we need to capture. Got so many strings hanging here, sorry guys. We need to capture, this is our working white yarn. We need to capture that. Pull it up next to the stitch, hold it with your finger. Hold it with your finger right there. Yarn over. Go through the stitch and the yarn. There's your working yarn, your white working yarn. Make your first stitch. Like I said, this one will always be fiddly for you, but you can do it. This will be the top side of your headband. This will be underneath, and because you're capturing these strands, as you work it up, they're kind of hidden, you know, on underneath here. So we're just going to keep doing that. We're just going to, here's your working white, let that drop down. Here's your red yarn that you are currently working with. Do your 2 rows, go into your next stitch. Do your 2 rows. Now I'll come right back when it's time to switch the yarn, and I will do the capturing the yarn one more time with you guys, and hopefully I am explaining it well enough for you guys to understand, or for a beginner crocheter to understand. I will be right back and we will capture the red yarn together. Okay, I'm back. I cleaned up all the tails too before I came back. So the only yarns that you will see are going to be the two working yarns, one in red, one in white. So there won't be any more tails and stuff getting in the way and maybe confusing you. So I hope this helps a lot. Okay, so here we are at the last stitch that we're going to do in the red. I already did, this will be row 2. And you always know you're on the second row because you will have your working yarn in your other color sitting here waiting to be picked up. So yarn over, enter into that last stitch. Remember that stitch. Pull up your loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Drop your red. Pick up the white. Pull the white through. Not too tight because you don't want to. You want it to be able to move a little bit, okay? So see, just a little bit, but see how it's nice and hidden there? Chain 1, turn your work. Now your red is sitting over here. Here's your red working yarn. You're gonna pick it up, and you're gonna place it up against your stitch, just like so. Okay, so you're going to hold it up against your first stitch right there. So get yourself unfiddled. It gets easier and it gets less fiddly after a little bit. You'll see. So I have my working yarn, yarn over, enter into the stitch underneath the 2 loops and your working red yarn, your first stitch, make your half double crochet. Now drop your red yarn, let it be hanging there waiting for you to come back. See, here it is, just dangling out of the way, but it's trapped right there. See, it's trapped. That way, as you see, this is going to be our side that you see. This side here, see all your little trapped, traveled up yarns right here? This is going to be the part that's up, you know, in your hairline. Nobody will see it. See that? Works out pretty good, huh? And you don't have to cut yarn, and you don't have to hide in tons of tails. So remember, just that one stitch, you're going to just trap it under the very first stitch and then continue to work in your white, going across just like before, and you continue to make your half double crochets, 2 rows half double crochet in white, then 2 rows half double crochet in red. You will continue in this pattern, 2 rows of red, 2 rows of white, red, white, etc., until you have 9 rows of red and 8 rows of white. Your last pattern repeat will be red. So when you get done with your pattern repeat, ending with the red, I will see you back here. So as you see, we carried up the yarn up the sides. I didn't do real good right there. That was me bad. But if you pull it up, it carries up pretty nicely. This was the last row of white. I still have my loop hanging for my red. But on the other side, see? Not too bad, huh? Any wonkiness that you're seeing right now is me just trying to do kind of a quick job. Sorry about that, guys. So now we have to cut away our white yarn. We don't need the white yarn anymore. So we are going to leave a good sized tail for sewing up the project. So let me, I always cut too much. I always cut too much. And This is done, so I'm going to pull it through the loop. Oh my goodness, I did cut too much. That's okay, no big deal. I don't care, I'd rather have too much than not enough. Snug down the loop. For the white one, oh my goodness, look at me. For the white one, we're going to hide in the tail. So you thread your needle. Now you want to hide your tail pretty good. For your white yarn, so you want to make sure you weave in your white yarn that's just kind of hanging here. I mean, it's fine. See how it's trapped right here under the red stitch? But you don't, obviously, you don't want this pulling away right there like that. So you want to make sure you hide your tails, weave in your ends pretty good, making sure that you can't see anything on the other side. So let me run this a couple of times. I split some stitches, that's how I usually do mine. And I go one way. Now this is the side that will be on your head that you won't be able to see, so you want to make sure you hide your tails on this side. Then I split the stitch, come back down that same pathway. And then I go around, split the stitch a little bit more, and then I go back up a little bit. And you know what? If that tail comes undone, you basically just lock that in place. If that tail comes undone, I would be surprised. Mine have never. My ends have never come undone. So then just give it a little pull. Snip it close, but not too close. Smooth it out. It's gone. And you can't see it on that side. It's a little bulky, but you just smush it a few times, it goes down. No big deal. So now we have our red yarn that's still attached, but we cut a long tail to sew it up. But before we sew it up, this is an option. This is something I am doing that I thought was cute. I am making stars. So if you want, I will show you how to make this. It's real easy. It's real simple. So now I will show you how to make these cute little stars on here. You can, it's up to you if you want to make them or not. You don't have to. I'm going to just put one more right here, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to get crazy with it. I think they kind of look cute. I don't know. The stars that I was trying to make by crocheting them and then sewing them on afterwards, they ended up looking like flowers here. I'll show you. This is my prototype that I had done last night just to get a feel for everything, and this is the star I made last night, and it looks like a flower to me, so not quite what I was looking for. I mean, it's cute and everything, but not quite a star. So, plus it's a little bit bulky, and I just wanted to add a little interest to the piece, so I decided to do this, which is just basically, you know, like embroidering a star. Just couple little sewing things. Okay, so what we gotta do is find a spot where the stitch can go in. It can't go into an open area, obviously. It has to actually go into a stitch. So right there looks like it'll probably be good. So you go in from underneath. Now I'm going to try to do this so you guys can see. I am not the sewer. But you go in from underneath and pull your yarn until you have a little bit of a tail left for weaving in afterwards. And what I'm going to do is put my finger on this so it doesn't go anywhere when I pull on it. I will go up a few. Like I said, make sure it's in between stitches and not in like a hole, because obviously that's not going to work. So we will go up a few stitches and give it a little tiny pull, not real tight, but just a little pull. Then we need to come back underneath and come back up. I'm going to put my thumb over it right now just so I can feel it, okay? But you got to come back up right where you originally came up from. So you come up, go over, go back to the middle spot, pull your yarn through, find another area. So I will do it right here. Pull your yarn through, keeping your tail out of the way, kind of holding it with your finger. Going back underneath, going back to that little middle spot, so to speak. We're always going to go back to that middle spot. And now I'm going to go kind of on a diagonal like this. Let me find a spot. There's a good spot, I guess. Me and sewing are not the best of friends. So there's the spot now. Come back underneath and find the center again. A lot of people in my family can sew, not me. I basically wing everything. So now I want the stitch to follow suit that way and go somewhere like that. So I'm going to pick another stitch area. Boop. Is that a hole? No, it works. And then come back up through the middle. Come on, there you are. Now I'm going to go that way and that way. So let me find another little spot, maybe right there. Like that. And then I'm going to come back up through the middle. Just like so. And then the last spot, I want it to follow this way. So I guess we will pick where? Right here. Hopefully that looks okay. And pull it through. Ta-da, ta-da. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Especially on camera. And then I'm going to come back up through the middle. And then I'm going to go back down because I don't really like the way that looks right there. So I'm going to try to hide it. Oops, I lost my... That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Pretty good? Yeah, that'll work. So now I'm going to flip my work over. And I'm just going to make one little twist. It shouldn't go anywhere because we basically sewed everything, but this is just in case. And now I am going to find a couple of fat stitches to hide this. Let me see. Maybe right through here. I don't care what it looks like on this side so much because obviously this isn't the side that's seen. So I just want to make sure you can't see it on that side. Nope. Pull it through. We're good there. And then come back up. Pull it through again. That's good enough. Snip it. And now I'm going to do the same with this side. Now we got a cute little star. We got a couple little stars. Now I am going to mattress stitch this together because it will help hide the seams. Let me bring this out a little bit. Stitch this. You can stitch this up any way you want. It doesn't matter. The only reason I'm doing it this way is to make it as seamless as possible. This is your inside of your work. We're going to fold it like this. We are going to go from underneath on this side, find your stitch right here. So you match up these two guys right down here, see? We're going to match these up. Now we're going to do, with the mattress stitch, it's kind of like lacing a shoelace. So you're going to go underneath your stitch on this side, up and under this side, pull it, and then go to your other side from underneath and pull. And we're not going to pull too hard yet. Go to your next stitch. From underneath. Go to your next stitch. From underneath, you're going to go through both loops. And then what you do is, when you're all done stitching up, all the way up, you pull this, see? See? And you can't even tell that you, see? How's that? Not too bad? Alright, when I come back, I will show you the completed seamed up job. Sorry guys, but doing the mattress stitch underneath the camera and barely being able to see what you're doing was a little tricky for me, but I hope you got the gist of how to do the mattress stitch. As you see, it makes for a really nice, like non-raised seam. You can't see anything, see? Real nice? That's not too bad. So now I'm going to hide in this tail. Make sure everything's nice and neat and snug, like you do. Always fumble with your crochet, and I'll be right back. So all the ends are sewn in. Here's the reverse side. Here's all the yarn I carried up. And when I flip it around, see, you can't see it. And you didn't have to go switching yarns, and you didn't have to tie in tons of ends or anything like that. So I hope you like this tutorial. I hope you like this patriotic headband to wear for 4th of July, Veterans Day, Flag Day, Election Day, Inauguration Day, any day that you can think of, Memorial Day. Now you have a cute little headband to wear, and this one is nice and blingy bling. and I will be wearing mine for the 4th of July. So you go over to my Facebook page. It's in the description box down below, and post your makes and tell me what you think. Was it all right? Was it pretty easy to do? I think it was a pretty easy pattern. I don't think it's too hard to do. I think anybody can handle this. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys really, really soon. Bye.